Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another week on the Africam cameras. It's great to have you with us. My name is Russell Gerber, coming to you live from Cape Town. And of course, all our cameras beaming live videos to us from various parts of South Africa. I hope you all had a nice weekend. And as always, a big hello to all of our regular viewers and members. Always a pleasure to have you with us. And as always, please feel free to pop in a quick hello to us. Let us know where you're watching from. And of course, any questions you might have about the wildlife from the last week or so, or the live cameras as we go through the next half an hour together. And kicking off today at the beautiful live camera at Rosie's Pan. A gorgeous little breeding herd of elephants. They've just gone and hidden behind the bushes. They were actually drinking from the water hole just before we started. I don't know if any of you tuned in for our new Junior Ranger show. Phil was hosting for us, but if you haven't yet seen it, please do check it out on the website. If you have any aspiring young rangers out there or any teachers who are interested, do have a look. Lots of interesting information there. We asked the young kids what their favorite animal was, and we're going to pass that on to you today. I'd love to know from all of you, what's your favorite animal to see on the cameras? What do you stop everything for and zoom in and get very excited about when they do come onto the cameras? So let me know what your thoughts are. I think many of you know what my favorite animal is. I'm certainly a bit of a leopard freak. I'm always most excited to see the leopards, and I know we've had a little bit of leopard action around olifants, also at Cat Eye, I think, last night. So we'll always keep an eye out for any potential leopard action for sure. And for those of you who haven't joined the show before, we also go through some of our highlights from the last couple of weeks. And since we're here at Rosie's, talking about leopards, we got a lovely little video of a young leopard at Rosie's Pan that we're going to start off with today. And it's just a lovely clip to show you some interesting leopard behavior. You can see this young individual rubbing itself up against the bush next to the waterhole, and also scent marking as it walks. They actually spray urine onto the bushes. They can do it from quite some distance, and if any of you have spent any time out in the bush, what's interesting about leopard scent marking is it has a distinct smell. Many people describe it as an almost popcorn type smell. And I have to admit, it does have a almost popcorn-like scent to it. But very often, if you're driving out in the bush at night in the open vehicles, you can actually pick up that smell, and almost always you will then notice some fresh tracks of a leopard nearby. and they would have scent marked on one of the wild features, either a tree, bush, or a marking post that they would generally utilize over and over again. But you can see this young leopard has already moved on and disappeared. So just a short glimpse, but again, another reminder that we're seeing quite a few more of the big predators around at the various water holes. So this was just a short little view, but very often they like to hang around. So keep an eye on the Rosie's camera after dark. You never know what might pop down for a little bit of scent marking. We're back live now. These two little impalas getting nicely groomed by a red-billed oxpecker. It looks like this young female here laying down is chewing the cud. You can see the big dominant bull. Another male also around. They're not quite in rutting season yet, so they're happy to tolerate each other. As we get into the season, they will, we're just past the season actually, if I'm not mistaken. And as we get further down into the year, around November, December, we'll be expecting some new young Impala lambs. So the fighting is over for now. You can see this little oxpecker with that wonderful grip hanging out on the back of this male. Of course, they climb around the back of the animal looking for any potential snacks in the form of parasites, flying insects. So they live in a symbiotic relationship where the oxpecker gets food from the impala, and of course the impala gets the wonderful treatment of getting groomed. But often overlooked, the impala is one of our more common species, but they really are quite special to watch. We've got a couple of answers from you out there. We've got favorite animals, meerkat, but you haven't seen one yet on the cameras. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't see them on the cameras in the areas that we operate. Up around the Tau area, as you go further north into Botswana region, you will start to come across some meerkats, but unfortunately, the areas that we're in are a little bit too wet for them. They tend to prefer the desert or semi-desert areas. Otherwise, you say elephants. And then we've got more saying elephants and lions from the east coast of the USA and Virginia. Thank you for joining us. And then we've got a very diplomatic answer. I love all the animals. Very happy to see genets and civets, wildcat, wild dogs, serval, caracal, owls. That's a lot. And that's good. As you say, you've got to enjoy all of them, even the humble impala. Thank you for those answers, everybody. Let's head on over to Timbi and see what we've got around there. We often get the arrival of our elephants around this time. Let's pop in there quick on the live cameras and see who we've got around. Here we are at Timbi now. And for now, all is quiet at Timbi. Luckily, we come loaded with entertainment for you folks, so we'll go through a couple of highlight videos as well while we wait for the arrival of our animal friends. And just have a listen if we can hear any special birds that might be calling at Timbi. Always a special area for birds. Sounds like a couple of the usual suspects. We got our red-eyed doves, the village weavers, Egyptian goose, of course. Let's go to one of our highlight videos in the meantime. And we've got a lovely video of a nice big herd of buffalo at Tau. I wanted to show you. We've been getting them coming down to the waterhole at Tau. You don't often see them during the summer as they head out into the different parts of the reserve where the grazing is better when there's some rain around. But as things dry up, you can see here in this video, the herds tend to come back to the permanent water sources. This is a very nice size herd, probably around 300 individuals. All part of the same herd, and they'll generally keep the young calves towards the middle of the herd. You can see one of them got spooked, probably by one of the wading birds. The calves will generally be in the middle with the adults and males around the outskirts to help protect from any potential predators. For buffalo, pretty much your only consistent predators tends to be lions. Of course, buffalo is a significant prey species for lions to go after. The risks are very high, not only from the herd itself, but the individual animal. They are extremely powerful, especially when they are coming out of a good wet season, where they've been feeding well and their condition is good. But as we get into the drier winter months and grazing starts to dry up, things get more and more difficult for the buffalo, and particularly the young calves. And as they start to lose condition, become a little weaker, it gets easier for the lions to pick them off. And a young adult buffalo or a full-grown buffalo is, of course, a great meal for a pride of lions. Last them some time. Remember, buffalo anywhere around 600 to 800 kilograms. Which is a pretty big steak if you're a meat eater. So the buffalo always have to be on the lookout for any potential threats. And you'll see they're often on the move. They'll be down the water holes in the afternoon as things are, or it's the hottest part of the day. And as we get into the early evening, they'll generally move into the thicker woodland areas. A little bit out of the wind, and it tends to be just a little warmer in the thicker areas, especially in the cold months of winter. But really nice to be seeing the big herds coming back to Tau. A lovely clip for you to see. So let's go back live and see what we've got down at the water holes. Keep those comments coming in, folks. If you have any answers for your favorite animals, as we spoke about. And we got a question here. Would lions try to take down a rhino? It's a good question. It does happen from time to time, but it's extremely rare. When they do it, it will generally be a young calf that has been separated from its mother somehow. Unfortunately, with the ongoing issues with rhino poaching throughout Africa, very often young rhinos get orphaned by poachers and they then have to fend for themselves. And in those kinds of instances, they can become fair game for the big predators like the lions. And unfortunately, that is a reality that we've had to deal with. In many cases, we will try to then bring that orphaned rhino into captivity so that we can help rear it to adulthood, and then they get re-released back into the wild when they can fend for themselves. But in areas like the Kruger, which are huge areas, many instances we have no idea where and when the mom had been taken by poaching, and in those cases a young calf might be on its own for many months before it does get taken by lions. But as an adult, rhinos are a powerful and formidable enemy, and with that huge horn in the front, of course, it's a pretty good weapon to help defend themselves. So adult rhinos really have no natural enemies in the wild besides humans. So I hope that answers your question, and thank you for that. Back live now at Rosie's, of course. Our elephants have come out into the open a little for us. Having a gentle stroll and snack in the early afternoon. Things starting to get a little chilly down here in South Africa. We had a few big cold front systems moving through the country, so I hope you're enjoying some warm weather for those watching from the northern parts of the world. Not too far north, of course, otherwise it'll be pretty chilly there, I'm sure. As this Ellie moves away from us, let's have a look at another one of our highlight videos. This was a lovely little wildcat at Cat Eye Pan. This was from a couple of weeks ago, I think about 10 days ago. It's, of course, the always interesting and fun to watch African wildcat. Of course, very similar in body size and shape to your domestic cats. And one of the threats to the African wildcat is that actual interbreeding with domestic cats. They can readily mate with domestic cats, and in that way, the specific species and genetics tend to get a little watered down, and it's hard to know if there is a purebred African wildcat still left in the wild. But as you can see, the coloration of this cat, almost that beautiful tawny color of a lion, and then you can see a little bit of spotting and coloration along the legs and the end of the tail. What I love about this little clip is you can really see her in action. Slowly stalking across whatever it might find in the long grass. Of course, going for things like small mammals, mice, moles, other small rodents. Oh, she's just run off now, and we'll pan across in a minute, you'll see. They'll also go for small reptiles, birds, anything that they might be able to get their hands on or their paws on. But they are prolific hunters at night. They can sneak up on things by putting their hind feet down, or their forefeet down very gently. You'll see they'll often touch gently on the ground until they can make sure that they don't break a twig or make any noise. And once they put that foot down, they'll then actually move their hind leg and foot into the exact same spot as that forefoot. So that they can be sure that they won't make a noise with the rest of their legs as they move. So African wildcats, we don't see them every day. It's always nice to catch them on the cameras at night like that. Here we are back live now. Tau, everything's looking pretty dry. Got a lovely spur-winged goose here. Next to its smaller, more colorful cousin, the Egyptian goose. But for those of you who were wondering, what's the difference between these two species? Well, you can see it really nicely here with these two side by side. Spur-winged goose giving itself a nice preening, making sure those feathers are in tip-top condition. Whereas our Egyptian goose seems to be having a little nap, mid-afternoon nap. While we're here at Tau, we've got another video from Tau that I wanted to show you. This was a lovely group of giraffe and just beautiful colors in the mid-afternoon, or late afternoon, should I say. So you can see this female giraffe in the foreground here, closest to us. And giraffes have pretty loose social structure. They don't generally always hang out in herds or journeys, and as they're called in some cases. So often you'll see giraffe on their own. Sometimes you'll see them together in groups. And there's no real knowledge of why they behave like that, why they're happy to be there on their own sometimes, and why other times they'll move together. Obviously, the benefits of being together always seem to outweigh the benefits of being alone. But as I say, for whatever reason, you will often find a single giraffe out on its own. More often than not, the males who will be out on their own. But I just thought this lovely clip, these three giraffe and that beautiful herd of blue wildebeest in the background. And some golden sun on one of Africa's most iconic animals. Just a lovely, lovely view. Of course, the great benefit of being tall You can see far and wide for any potential predators. Remember, some giraffes can get up to around 6 meters tall, which is pretty impressive. Most of them tend to be around the 4-meter mark or so. That wonderful gait that they have of walking with both legs on the same side. So much a characteristic of the beautiful giraffe. And again, a species that we haven't been seeing a lot of at Tau in the summer months for the similar reasons that we chatted about. What a lovely, lovely sighting nonetheless. Let's go back live now. Yeah, it looks like we're checking out the beautiful feathers. One of our more commonly more commonly seen bird species. Let's see if anyone out there is on their game and can tell me what species of bird this is. Hiding its face away from you, but the feathers should be a pretty good clue. Everybody seems very relaxed on the cameras this afternoon. Very quiet at the water holes. Sometimes nice to enjoy the peaceful sounds. And focus on the smaller thingies. Looks like we're checking out what might be hiding in and amongst the rocks here with our zoomy, but it doesn't seem to be much going on there. Let's go over to Tau live now. It looks like we've got a couple of our more common water species. It's like a grey heron in the front here and a couple of white-faced ducks in the background. We've got a couple of guesses on that bird. It is indeed a hardy-dar, not an Egyptian goose. Those glossy feathers often a giveaway for the hardy-dar. Egyptian goose has those beautifully green under feathers at the end of the wings. The hardy-dar has those glossy feathers. But you're right, generally the big giveaway for the hardy-dar is the long red and black bill. But here, Tau, 3 species in one shot. Egyptian goose, Egyptian spur-winged goose, the white-faced duck, grey heron in the foreground. Well, thank you as always, folks, for joining us. As I say, a little quiet on the cameras today, but I hope you enjoyed those highlight videos. It's always a pleasure to be with you. And thanks for your input. We'll see you all again later this week. Of course, we've got Ranger Show on Thursday. There won't be an On Point show this week. We'll be coming back with another one next week. So we'll be back live on Thursday at the same time. So please do join us then for our Ranger shows. As always, give us your input on the Facebook page. Any questions, just drop us an email on the website as well. And I hope to see you all again soon. Keep your eyes on the cameras. You never know what you might get. It's all live and unscripted, so it's always exciting. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Cheers for now.